Yo, what's good everyone? SloMo here. This video is going to be about Control and my impressions of the game. And Control, if you're not aware, is a third-person action adventure game developed by Remedy Entertainment. Remedy has previously made Quantum Break, Alan Wake, and Max Payne 1 and 2, if you are familiar with those games. Now, Control is their latest game, and it's a multi-platform game. It's on PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox. Your main character is Jessie, and Jessie has been searching for this secret organization in the government for her whole life. Her brother went missing when she was a child, and she's been trying to find him, and she believes this organization took him. So this is the premise of the backstory of what has been going on prior to Jessie arriving at the oldest house, which is the building that this entire game takes place in. And so Jessie arrives at this building, the oldest house, as applying for a position as an assistant janitor. Just a ruse to get in under the Federal Bureau of Control, which is the government agency that's running the building. And then that's when she arrives, she realizes the building's on lockdown, and the enemy, the hiss is what they call it, has taken over the building. You see people floating in the air, looking very creepy looking, and you see all kinds of other almost people-like persons trying to attack you. So very quickly you also find out that the director of the Federal Bureau of Control has committed suicide, and then you are chosen as the new director. The storytelling in this game has a very distinct style. It is not appreciated by everyone. I will freely admit I'm one of the people that doesn't really care for this kind of storytelling, where essentially there's a lot of exposition. Jessie is narrating a lot of things in her head, and I would much prefer a character to actually show me how they feel about certain things through their body language or through their actions than through narration. It just seems like a lazy way of storytelling to me. But a lot of the information that you get in this game is through Jessie's narration in her head, and also through reading tons and tons of letters and notes and emails and all that kind of stuff that you find scattered throughout the rooms, which explain the backstory to a lot of things, like the gun that Jessie has, what that gun really is, and how that gun has appeared throughout history. All that's a lot of information that I think is cool, yet at the same time, I kind of wish I would have uncovered that in a different way instead of just reading it in some document. If you don't read all of the material scattered all over the building, you're going to be slightly confused about what's going on. And that's where I feel like I'm not quite sure if Remedy had some budgetary issues with this game, where they felt the best way to be able to get the full story out there is to do it this way, where you don't see a lot of the story of what's going on on the screen, but you just read it through notes. And I guess now that I think about it, Quantum Break was the same way. There's a lot of note reading, a lot of diary reading of some really good, nice story beats that just weren't shown on the screen, and it was all available through reading some notes. So that said, I think the story is just okay. Some characters I feel are not written all that well, unfortunately. Some decisions by the characters make very little sense to me. I'm not finished the game yet, so maybe there is a chance that all of this will kind of culminate in the end to give me some big epiphany on what's going on. I do have to admit, I do like in the story where there's a part where I gained the ability of telekinesis from an 80s era floppy disk that was going around throwing things at people and knocking people out in the room. I thought that was pretty hilarious. The visuals are a mixed bag. I like the art direction. The design of the interior of the building has a lot of gray in it. It has that industrial look to it. Very sharp edges everywhere. I like that. And I like that it can drastically change into bright red lights and a very alien look. I think the engine that Remedy uses, the Torchlight engine, is great at environmental physics. Like, you can destroy a desk, and here you'll see me like just in a room just destroying stuff. And you see like papers flying everywhere with realistic physics for each individual paper falling to the ground. I mean, that's pretty amazing, and you don't really see that in any other game or with any other game engine. The problem with the Torchlight engine is that it's also very demanding on the hardware. So I'm playing the game on the Xbox One X, which is the best version of this game on a console, and I still say, I still see occasional frame rate issues during battle. There's no HDR in this game, which for a console in 2019, on a AAA budget, that's a bit of a disappointment. The facial animations are weird. They're very strange. Some characters have excellent facial details. Like Jesse has excellent facial animation. The janitor, really well done with him. But then you have some of these lesser characters that look like something you would find on a last gen game. It seems to me they had like the budget to mocap actors for the better scenes, but then try to manually animate the less important characters, and that really shows. But where this game really shines is the gameplay. Using your powers to fight enemies, it's just such a joy. You got this unique gun that can be upgraded, doesn't necessarily really need to be reloaded, it just recharges, and the abilities are just like really cool. Take on a group of enemies in a room in however way possible you want to do that. Now, in the beginning, you're probably going to struggle a little because you have few powers in the beginning. But as the game progresses, it gets really addictive how you're just able to dominate enemies the way you can. Clearly, the best part of this game is the combat, by far. The sound is very good as well. I think the voice acting is all well done by all parties involved. The ambient sounds that you hear, it just really sets the mood very well. The chanting by the hiss keeps the game tense when you go into new areas, and just it really fits the mood and overall feel for the game. And yeah, overall, honestly, I have to admit, I like their previous game, Quantum Break, a little better. Mostly because I enjoy Quantum Break's story more. But Control is a game I'd recommend to anyone who usually skips cutscenes, doesn't really care about what's happening in the story, that's not important to them, and just wants to just do the gameplay. They want a challenge in the gameplay, they want a challenge in the combat. You'll really like this game if that's who you are. Some people have been complaining about the checkpoints, that there aren't really any checkpoints, that the only time that you really get to save the game is when you cleanse an area, then it saves. If you die, you go back to that cleansed area. And if you are trying to run through this game, more than likely, you're not going to get all the powers, which means it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you. You're also not going to be cleansing a lot of areas. So you may end up dying and then have to go back like half an hour to the previous cleansed area that you did. That it has been some frustration for some people, and my recommendation is that if you're going to play this game, go through every nook and cranny. Go through every nook and cranny. Try to do all the side quests that you can find. Get as many powers as you can. Not only will you find the game more enjoyable, but then also you'll be less frustrated when you die and then realize, hey, I only had to go back to my cleansed area 15 minutes ago instead of the 145 minutes ago. So again, overall, I'll say this game's a good game. It's not on the level of, say, like a Sony first party, third person perspective action adventure game. It's not on that level, but it is a good game to play. I would recommend, though, like, probably wait for a sale. Like, this would be a perfect game for Black Friday, but at $60, I'm not quite sure it's worth a $60 purchase right now. But that's my video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Let me know how you guys feel about Control, whether you agree with my opinions on it. Did you finish the game yet? Just let me know in the comment section. And you guys, take care. Peace.